Unlikely as well. It's coming from John Paul Morosi on MLB.com.
All right, we're back here live at Willie Mays Plaza, and we're going to go 5 wide on the set because we're going to bring in one of Flan's all-time great baseball guys and longtime baseball scout, Gary Hughes. Gary, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Dave, thanks you for having me here. It's my pleasure. Well, it's nice, and we got a nice night for it.
When Flan raves about someone, they come on the set. It's that simple. Yeah. You've got 4 championship rings. You're wearing your most recent one with the Red Sox. You've scouted for all these teams, Rockies, Reds, Cubs, and now Sox. You were with the Marlins, the Expos. You've been all around baseball. With the trade deadline coming up, what's it like for a scout? What goes through this time of year? What do you guys do?
A lot depends on what team you're with, but it's an exciting time, and it's also a hectic time. You might find yourself being told to see some guy in Seattle tonight and some guy in Tampa tomorrow, and trying to figure out how to get there. It depends on if you have needs, what kind of needs you have, as opposed to, it basically comes down if you're a buyer or a seller.
You're working with the Red Sox now, have been for a little while. So you're unbiased, you get impartial, you stand back, you can look from the outside in. What happened this year with the Giants? What have you seen from the Giants this year to have this?
Well, it's been close to being brutal so far. I mean, it's a shame, you know, and you can't forget what they've done, and what they did in that 5-year period of winning 3 World Series is unbelievable. The general manager of the Atlanta Braves is going to the Hall of Fame this year. He won 14 consecutive division titles, won 1 World Series. And in that same division, I'm proud to say, the Florida Marlins won 2 World Series.
That's right. You talked to me earlier, we were talking about when you're dealing with trades, you're not always dealing with people, you're talking about contracts.
Yeah, and there's so many factors involved in making a deal. And you'd like to be over, let's say we need a position player right now, and it'd be nice to be able to pick anyone we wanted.
Yeah.
But you don't want to pick up 5 years of a bad contract or a bad 5 years of anybody's contract, probably. And it depends on a lot of things. And as it gets closer, it gets more exciting. You get more willing to do stuff you wouldn't have done last week, you might do this week.
I have a question, just because it's one of the best at doing it. And it's not me. I mean, all the baseball people say he's one of the great scouts.
Got the rings to prove it.
Yeah, he's got the rings to prove it. A guy like Johnny Cueto with an opt-out, if you are going to deal him, is it better to deal him quicker, or is it wait later, because the team, he can still opt out of wherever he goes?
Yeah, there's a question on both sides. There's a question if you got a player that's gonna opt out, you got the people that own him and the people that want to buy him, and they decide, do we want to buy some guy that we're just buying for basically 2 months and hopefully the month of October? And decisions have to be made, and when to do it becomes a big question for the seller too. And if they get their price, I would say they would do it.
And there's certain people you always feel, a certain team. I mean, people feel here, they say, Bumgarner, Posey, Crawford, they're untouchable. When you're a scout and you're looking at people, there's people you know who are untouchable and people who you still go after?
Sometimes those untouchable guys become touchable.
They do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So a couple
so
of the
some of those might be touchable.
Yeah, and a couple of the guys, the names we keep hearing are Eduardo Nunez and Johnny Cueto. Do you feel like both of those players could help a contender enough to where they will be dealt before the trade deadline?
Yeah, I mean, all you got to do is look at the back of their top scores. Yeah. You know, they are what they are. I mean, that's and those type of players with those types of ability can help clubs. Everybody's got those kind of players. And then the question becomes, do you want to lose that kind of player if it's you? Yeah. So I can't get in too much into other people's players.
Sure.
But if you got a good player, you know, you got a valuable commodity, one you might either want to hold on to or move.
Right. You said something coming in today, because I know you're here for some reason to watch this club, watch Colorado. The greatest advice you got was from your first scout that you really liked. What did he tell you?
I asked Eddie Bachman, who was when I was coming up, I lived in this area all my life. When I was coming up, there was tremendous scouts here in Northern California. Eddie Bachman was a Philly scout and one of the best. And I asked him, give me some advice. I'm just getting started in this. He said, and this exact words were, find a ballpark and get in it. In other words, get down there, get to the game, pay attention. You can take a day off because you're your own boss in a lot of ways, but you're not doing anybody any good with a day off.
I want to ask you another question because, you know, sometimes I go back and work with that MLB network that has a lot of that a couple people don't think that there's chemistry, don't think that you can quantify personalities in a clubhouse. You once told me that you guys actually went out looking for people to beat a clubhouse. And you said today that we should, the Giants should sign Draymond Green to be in the clubhouse.
Well, you were talking about you want some fight on the ball club.
Yeah.
What better guy than Draymond Green? The Red Sox really believe in this. And when I came the first year there, they gave me a list of 35 players at the end of the year. And all they wanted me to do is I've been around enough where I get enough people to know, can get some information on what kind of a person they are, just what kind of a person they are. And it's important. And I could give you an example. Excuse me. The 1997 Florida Marlins, with about a month to go in the season, looked like we had a chance. We picked up Darren Dalton, and he made all the difference in the world as a person.
Wow.
He was here 3 days and called a team meeting and said, hey, guys, you guys are spending more time out in the parking lot with guys washing your cars and your 3 cell phones and all. And he says, well, I came here because you have a chance to win. And let's get going. And they got going.
Made a huge difference.
Gary, thanks.
Yeah,
Great to visit with you.
That was awesome.
My pleasure.
Thanks to visit. Want to see your scouting report on Rich Aurelia coming back from St. John's? Well,
Now. I want to see it on now.
Good.